This is the Experience Pros Radio Show. Got an opinion or want to ask us a question? Email radio@experiencepros.com or message us on the Experience Pros Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. You know, that's the way. We know you like it. And Angel's doing her little disco dance.
You know, I'm probably the only girl who, in my age range that loves disco music. But it's just, you just can't help but want to dance to it, and that's my favorite form of exercise. So,
absolutely.
So thank you, Richard, for that. Do you want to transform your workforce? Of
Yes.
course we do, right? We talk about one of the most important factors in growing our business is employee engagement. And our next guests say it's all about creating community. Of course, the endless magic bullet approaches don't typically work. And what drives engagement isn't a sophisticated application or new technology. It really is all about community. Our expert guest today is Howard Partridge, an international business coach and #1 Amazon.com bestselling author and an in-demand conference speaker. His new book is called The Power of Community: How Phenomenal Leaders Inspire Their Teams, Wow Their Customers, and Make Bigger Profits. Howard, you are on the call with Angel, Eric, and Ed. Welcome.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
Well, it is fantastic having you on the program. Now let's start with this, if you don't mind, Howard. Leadership. You say that we can transform this by taking steps for the leaders instead of expecting the employees to work this from the ground up. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Everything rises and falls on leadership.
All right. So give us step number one. What do we need to do in order to transform the workplace?
Well, the first thing that we need to do is think about what leadership really is. The thing is that most leaders and managers kind of sit back and they hire on skills and okay, let's see how this person does. But the truth is that every human being has a longing for belonging. This is what the power of community is all about. We all want to feel loved, accepted, and validated. We want to feel that our lives matter. Deep down, we want to belong to something bigger than ourselves. We want to make a positive difference. Today, we're more connected digitally than ever before, but we often feel, more isolated and disconnected personally than ever before. We need to create a sense of community in the workplace, and the way that we start doing that is by becoming interested in our team members' personal goals and showing them that we care about them.
Sure.
And instead of just sitting back and saying, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, trying to hold them accountable without a relationship, we support them and we encourage them and help them become better people, not just in their jobs themselves. A leader is a coach.
So Howard, is this why everybody's putting ping pong tables and, beanbag chairs in the workplace?
That may be, but that's not the solution. The solution is a real relationship, not just entertainment.
So how do we make this shift? Because I think so often we want to keep our professional life separate from our personal life. We don't want to cross over any HR rules where we're getting really into their family life. Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's true. That's a conventional, that's conventional wisdom. That's the general rule, but that is probably what contributes to the 70% disengagement rate. 70% of American workers are disengaged. 18% are actively disengaged. So what's the problem? The problem is that no one thinks that their boss even cares about them. You don't have to cross any HR rules. You don't have to break any HR rules or anything like that. You just have to demonstrate to people that you care about them.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about their personal life.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your goal? You want to write a book? You want to get healthy? You want to get financially free? I know people, resources, information that'll help you. Just support them and serve them and show them that you care.
You really make some great points. And I want to make sure that our listeners know we're talking to Howard Partridge. And Howard, you talk about PODs. And what is a POD? I know what a POS is. but you say they're a powerful tool for the workforce. I'm talking about point of sale.
Of course he is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's a POD?
Well, a pod is a small group tool that you use. You know, mostly when we're communicating with people, it's one-way information. And large groups are great to inspire, to instruct, and telling people what to do and giving information out in front of the room is great and all that, except that it doesn't work. The real meeting happens after the meeting around the water cooler. So a pod is a small group where you sit down with your team in a circle, and we have a little icebreaker, and then we share the point that we want to get across, and we get some interaction. Everybody talks about it, so we can really get the feedback that we need and have that water cooler conversation right there in the room. I mean, why do we dole out a bunch of information and then everybody kind of rolls their eyes and then they go in the water cooler and say, what was the real meaning of that meeting?
Right.
You know, I think
So
a lot of
let's just go to
times,
the
Howard, you know, we've got, you know, these days, I mean, we're jumping, you know, you don't hear a lot about loyalty or longevity in a workplace. Is this why? I mean, because there's no sense of community?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had people, I'm a business owner, just like your listeners. I work with business owners all over the world in 100 different industries and 17 different countries in a couple of things that we do. And the fact is that people simply don't feel cared for. It's as simple as that. And leadership studies have shown for a quarter of a century that what keeps people at a job is sincere and honest appreciation. Leadership is effectively communicating your vision. And the fact is most leaders and managers just don't communicate very well. It's as simple as that.
I know communication is like the biggest challenge, I think, in any corporation. Howard, I want to make sure that we let our listeners get a copy of your book and get connected to your community as well. What's the best way to do that?
HowardPartridge.com. HowardPartridge.com.
Oh, you made it easy. The book is called The Power of Community, How Phenomenal Leaders Inspire Their Team, Wow Their Customers, and Make Bigger Profits. And Howard, a final thought of inspiration for our listeners?
Yeah, you bet. My biggest life lesson is get around people who have already done what you want to do. Get around people who are already where you want to be. If you want to be a better leader, get around better leaders.
I love it. That's Howard Partridge, author of the book, The Power of Community. The Power of Community. Sorry about that. Right? You've owned 9 small businesses. For 2 decades, has helped small business owners revolutionize their businesses. He's an international business coach, #1 best-selling author. The book is called The Power of Community, and you can connect with Howard at howardpartridge.com. Howard, so grateful to have you on the show with us today.
My pleasure, and thank you so much for getting the message out.
Absolutely. Folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, Ed, Angel, me, we're all here. This is the Experience Pros Radio Show, home of positive business talk. And for the archives of this show and every show that we do, go check out experiencepros.com and click on the radio tab. We'll be back right after this.
America's home for positive business talk.